I was so amazed by the dichotomy of the reactions that I received from people that I decided to make a separate video about it. So in this video, I will go over different stories pertaining to the different reactions I received and different scenarios that I was in with people. So you have some idea of what can you expect from family and friends after you're done with the leg lengthening and you're taller. So the first one is the realization. So keep in mind that I went from 5'4" to 5'7". Honestly, I never thought that my transformation is extreme or it would solicit some reactions from people. It was a big deal. And I never gave any much cadence to how people would react to my new height. And my first experience, and hence the realization, came that something was amiss when I went to a corner store. It was a small kosher shop. So the couple that were running the store, they knew or they know everybody who goes to the store. I've been going there for so long that the lady always recognizes me. So while I was in the store and I shopped, I was done shopping, and I was at the register for my payment, and she just went about her business. She never said hi, anything else, and I was shocked on she's not recognizing me. And it was not until I start to speak that she just looked at me and she was blown away. She's like, whoa. And she apologized and said, I never realized, I didn't realize that it was you over here. And I'm standing over, across the register thinking, you really didn't recognize me? And she didn't. She thought it was somebody else. So that's one thing that you will encounter or could encounter with some people who are not very close to you, and you meet with them first time. If they see you from the back or side, not your face directly, they may not even recognize who you are. I mean, for that lady, my change was that much of a change that she thought that it was somebody else standing there. The second one is the epiphany. So I used to think that I am the only one with height neurosis or height dysmorphia, but boy, I was wrong. It turns out that everybody, doesn't matter how tall, small, big, fat, slim, successful, loser, whatever they are, it turns out that everybody is fighting their own battles. And we have no idea, no clue about their battles. It's just that some people are extremely good at keeping a veneer of how happy they are. But it's only when you get to know them that you realize they're demons. As you know, that I'm very open about my height, after the surgery. So either people who I have told this, or other people who suspect that, I'm taller now and they inquire about it, I'm quite open about this procedure, and I answer people's questions. And slowly people would visit me and start to share some of their issues and their concerns or anxiety or stress that they deal with, ranging from their height, weight, or career or success. And some of these people, I would have never guessed in a million years that they have any issues. I regarded these people as they're, if anybody's made, they're the ones who have made it already. If, for example, a friend of mine who spoke with me about body dysmorphia or height neurosis, he's already a 6 feet tall gentleman. And I was looking at him thinking, really? I would say the lesson, that epiphany that I got, is that to get out of this, out of your head, that you're the only one who are suffering from anything like this. It's everybody out there. Everybody has some kind of an issue that they're dealing with, or their own battles. Before I go any further, there's two things that I want to share. One, People who see you every day, or people who cohabitants with you, like they live in the same house with you, mates, wife, family. If they see you every day during your lengthening or since surgery, and there's no gap, those are the people who will not really realize how tall you're getting, because the changes are in slow motion happening in front of their eyes and they're not realizing it. It's the people that you see after a month or after 2 months or so forth. Those are the people that you will get the most reaction out from. And number two is that I place people in three different categories. One is where people, the moment they see you, they immediately know that it's height. They don't think that you're taller, because unless you search for this cosmetic procedure, people are not aware of it. Normal people are not aware out there that there is a cosmetic procedure exists that can make you taller. So that's not what people think. They know it's height, but that's not where their mind goes. They think it's the shoes or something else, but somehow it's your height. That's what's different about you. And then there is a second type of people who don't guess correctly that it's height. They think it's weight. They think you have lost some weight. And then there's third category of people who have no comment. They don't show any interest in. They have noticed anything, and they're aloof towards your condition. So 3 categories. Obviously, people who don't notice anything or are aloof, I never received any comment from them. But the other 2, those who figured out that there's a change in height, had interesting reactions. So the first one is the adverse reaction. Some people will flat out get mad at you. This was the most surprising or difficult for me to deal with. So the story I have is, I have an individual that I run into now and then at work. So I wouldn't say he's my colleague, because he doesn't work the same place, same department that I do. But I do run into him now and then, and I work with his daughter. So I know him through her, and obviously he's much older than I am. And height-wise, he was the same, my old height. So he's about 5'4". And when I ran into him after COVID had gotten normal and we were allowed to come in, so I was walking, I ran into him, and he had the most adverse reaction that I ever had from anybody. He immediately knew that I was taller. So it looked like he went into a shock. And he started to look at my shoes, and he was just talking to himself. He's like, "What are you now, freaking 6 foot tall or something? I mean, what's different about you?" And he kept looking at my shoes and kept mumbling about the height. And he kept saying, "How is it possible?" And then he kept staring at my shoes, and I felt sorry for him. So I just went ahead and I told him that I had a leg lengthening surgery. And he was taken aback, and he's like, "Whoa, again, is this even possible?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm standing in front of you." And it didn't satisfy him. He got actually more mad. He was angry. Later, he met with me, and he tried to put fear of God in me. He kept talking about how come I was not happy with what I was born with, and this is a slap on or claiming that God made a mistake. I shouldn't have gotten it done. I don't have time for that kind of comments, so I stopped seeing him, just went on my way. And about a couple of weeks later, he stopped by my office, and I'm thinking, here we go again. I mean, he's here, he's gonna preach me, the same thing. But the funny thing is that he stopped by to confess that he was interested about this procedure for himself. And he came to ask me if he was too old to get it, and other details like how much it costs, does it hurt, how long it takes to recover. He's happy now. I mean, we're on good terms now, but you know, based on his initial reaction, I would have never guessed that he was suffering from some kind of neurosis. And it actually made him mad that why did I came out of that neurosis, or I had graduated or fixed my issue while he was still stuck with it. So I have told him he's looking into the procedure, but his reaction had just surprised me completely. I was baffled by his reaction. So that's one adverse reaction. The second one is I would call a stalker. So a lot of people are, even if they want to get it, they're still very afraid, or the procedure is still too expensive, or it takes so long to recover that people's schedules, work schedules, or life don't allow them to take a break for that long. So among these type of people, the most I have seen is the stalker syndrome, where they don't want to make a decision of getting it themselves, but still they started to actually stalk me. I mean, initially I felt like a celebrity. I mean, wherever I would go, the same people would corral around me. I mean, they make a circle, they gather around, they have same questions over and over. I would tell them the story, and you could tell that they were living through me, but slowly it started to get creepier. I wanted the space. It was getting older. So for a while, I stopped telling people that, about my height surgery. It's this kind of a paranoia that I think I don't like this kind of reaction, the stalker syndrome. I think it's a bad one. The other one is envy or intimidation. So this is something I want to put it out there for those of you who have wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands. You need to realize that people who are close to you, once you get the new height, your ideal height, they do get a little bit of intimidated by you. So if you're married or you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, it is your job to continuously remind them or assure them of your love, that nothing has changed. It's the same way as somebody was 600-pound obese person and all of a sudden lost all the weight and they're like, I don't know, 140 pounds now. And their, husband, wife, or girlfriend, boyfriend would be intimidated by their new figure. And they would be afraid that this new person would leave them for somebody better, It is amazing that how quickly you get used to your new height. Many times I have find myself questioning, how fucking short was I? It's hard to imagine, like, what was the life like when I was short? I remember the situations where I had the neurosis triggered, all those events. But it's hard for me to visualize, like, how did I look like? Your mind, it's amazing how quickly it adjusts to the new height, and you start acting like this is how you were always, So bottom line is that you cannot please everyone. You have to come to terms with it. Not everybody going to be happy with it. I was genuinely surprised by the vastness of reactions, diversity of reactions I received. Before the surgery, I had surmised that there will be people who are okay with it, and there are people who are not okay with it or don't care. I never would have thought that there will be people who would get angry or jealous, and yet that's what I have seen as well. Still, I'm quite happy and actually enjoy the comments that I do receive about my height, or people. It doesn't matter, it's height or weight or whatever. When people say I look different, I look better, I like it. And this procedure is still worth it in my book. I mean, I'm still reaping the ROI on rewards. I'm going to make a separate video on why you should get leg lengthening surgery. I will list some of the benefits that I have received. But as far as the reactions are concerned, I think I enjoy it. So hope this helps. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself. And those of you who are still on the fence, hopefully you get your surgery. Hopefully you achieve your goal. And hopefully you enjoy it as much as I have done. And you succeed in your ambitions. So until next time, take care and see ya.